Don't play with it, don't play with it, don't play with it. Don't play with it.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Shy here, and yes, I am back with another video, y'all. So y'all, we are here for the Baddies Africa recap, you guys. So right now, y'all, I'm going to be doing episodes 9 and 10 merged together so that we can catch up, y'all. So a lot has been going on with these two episodes. The ladies went up. It went crazy, y'all. So I want you guys to sit, get your wine, get your popcorn, whatever you need to do, whatever you need to get your blankets. Let's sit and let's talk, y'all, because a lot has been down these two episodes. So your girl you already know, already have my notes. You know, we're going to talk it out, y'all, because a lot has went down. It was a lot of good moments. It was a lot of I don't know kind of moments, but you know, y'all, we're going to be recapping everything. You know, we're going to be breaking everything down for y'all. Even if you didn't see it, you already know your girl got you. So if you are not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and also hit that notification bell so that way you are notified every time your girl posts another video just like this one, y'all. So we just going to get straight into it. Enough of the rambling. Let's get into this mess, y'all. What exactly went down for episodes 9 and 10, y'all? So let's go. Let's do it. So you guys, for these recaps, I'm going to be doing everything, breaking everything down as far as like the individual ladies, just to merge everything together for this recap. So let's get into the recap exactly, y'all. So for episodes 9 and 10, starting with Natalie herself, she did contact Tinka to kind of like, you know, rectify everything as far as what went down concerning the song. Cokiller's song specifically. I can say this, y'all. I can say this. Tinka, she was in defense mode. You know, she was not playing with that, and I don't blame her because, you know, if that is true, you know, you definitely want to defend yourself. But, you know, Diamond and Roly, everybody kind of like confirmed that was definitely Cokiller's song. So y'all, later on in the episodes, you know, Natalie, she calls Diamond up and she wants Diamond to be like a house mother, a house leader, you know, just to kind of like get the girls together. And, you know, to me, that was a good choice because, you know, Diamond, I think this season, she definitely wants to prove that, listen, I put in a lot of work as far as Baddies is concerned. But at the same time, you know, Diamond still has to remember that, listen, you have to respect Natalie. You may not understand everything, but you gotta respect her. Also, y'all, Natalie, she briefly mentions to the ladies that, listen, Summer is coming back. I don't think she, you know, told them exactly what happened. No, I believe she didn't. But, you know, she kind of briefly explains to them, like, Summer, she did leave, but she will be returning soon. Now, next, Natalie, she decides to, what you want to call it? She gives, like, a little warning to the rest of the ladies, like, listen, it's time to do, like, a house meeting. It's time to do one of these again. So, I'm like, I don't think, of course, y'all already know how the house meetings go, so it goes up really quickly. But overall, as far as Natalie, like, you know, she definitely expressed that, listen, I'm over this whole chain snatching stuff. Like, I'm just done with it all. And I really want these girls to stop fighting because it's getting, like, repetitive, it's getting redundant. And yeah, I think she's just pretty much over it. But at the same time, you know, you're letting these girls fight. You're letting these girls do what they do. So it's like you can't be proud of them standing on business, as y'all call it, but then at the same time, you want to say that you're tired of it. So it's like, are you tired of it, or you just don't want it to keep going on, or you just, you know, want it to keep going so that way you can get paid and then everybody's happy. But at the same time, I don't think it's right. I don't think these girls should be fighting over a chain whatsoever, especially when all these girls claim to be bosses in real life, you know, outside of the show. But I really hope that Natalie can eventually step up as a CEO, because right now it's not really giving that net. So we're on to Roly now. So Roly, she really didn't do too much or say too much these few episodes for 9 and 10. But I do want to mention, like, Roly, she did get a chance to meet with Marissa, which is a new baddie that we will get a chance to meet later on. So Roly, you know, even when it came down to the talent show, like, you know, she was a good sport about it. You know, she did her big one with her talent, and then also, like, she was cheering on everybody. So I mean, I'm glad to see that she is trying to, you know, take on that leadership role as far as the girls. Also, y'all, her and Scotty were able to sit down and have like a one-on-one as far as like what went down concerning why she went to the hospital. So, you know, Roly, she's giving big sister, she's giving mother at some times, and I love it. I love to see that aspect of her, but I do want to see more from Roly. You know, her looks do be eating this season right here. Like, I love her hair, makeup, all that. I love her outfits, but at the same time, we need to see more of like, what are you going to bring? But I think some of the OGs, now Natalie was right when she was saying like some of the OGs, they feel like they can just sit back and relax now. Like, they done did a few seasons, they don't have to do too much. But we still need to, you know, we still need that Roly, that Scotty. We need to see who y'all are. Like, we need to continue to see who y'all are. So, you know, I would only hope that Roly can bring out a little bit more, you know, as the seasons progress. And even as far as Baddies Africa, like, as the episodes, you know, continue, I want to see more Roly. Now for Miss Scotty with the bodies. So Scotty, you know, she lets everybody know, listen, well, at least lets Roly know, you know, once her and Roly got together, like, listen, I was in the hospital. I think I had like a minor, you know, anxiety attack, panic attack, you know, so we do wish her well, but I'm glad she was able to come back and kind of like get caught up on what exactly is going on in the house. Now, she was saying like she was really confused as to why, you know, Dolly was even being a hater to begin with, and she didn't appreciate that whatsoever, and I don't blame her. Now, my favorite phrase that Scotty was saying, she was like, not even phrase, it was more like, you know, her statement that she made, you know, when she was saying like, listen, y'all ladies are embarrassing. Y'all are really embarrassing us while we're out and about. And I would have been the same way, because like, no way in the world I'm about to get dressed up looking cute. Like, we're all looking good, you know, we're all out having an amazing time, you know, either if we're at a restaurant or if we're at like a little sightseeing thing, whatever. You guys want to fight everywhere we go, and that's not cute, that's not demure. I need these girls to kind of tone it down a little bit, you know. Even Diamond was saying the same thing, like, you know, let's wait until we get back to the house. But these girls are like, they're gonna just keep going. But like, even like in the previous seasons, you know, Scotty, she has always been to me like the peacemaker, you know, wanting to mend things together with some of the girls. You know, she don't want a lot of chaos in the house, because I believe that's what triggers anxiety and like panic attacks and all that, like just constant chaos and like turmoil in the house. So, you know, hopefully things kind of die down, but with these girls, nah, I don't think so. On to Diamond. So Diamond is next, y'all. So at the booking that the ladies had, Diamond was saying like she believes that Natalie deliberately and intentionally told that DJ to play the diss track that Dolly had towards Diamond. So I thought that was really weird. Like, why would they even play that diss track? And then it was corny on top of that. So like, while Dolly is performing, you know, Ivory and DTB and Pretty B, like, they're telling the audience, like, you know, tell her boo, you know, trying to boo her song and stuff. I thought that was corny, but I mean, I would have just like, you know, let it ride. Like, you want to have a diss track towards me, okay, cool. But she had a song towards Dolly, so it was like, you know, and even Diamond had a chance to perform, so it wasn't like a total loss. But I need these girls to grow up, honestly. Now at the ladies get a chance to visit a like a cultural village, like, you know, amongst the African culture, stuff like that. So the ladies were able to do that, and Diamond was saying, you know, she was really excited to be able to take in like the culture and the vibes and stuff from the village, and she has learned a lot, you know, from the experience. So that's a good thing, because I like seeing stuff like that. Now fast forward, you know, she was telling some of the other ladies, like, as far as Russian Cream, she honestly feels like Russian Cream goes from click to click. Like, she is trying to do like low-key things in the house that she's not really feeling, and I don't blame her, because that is true. Because it came out, y'all, that Russian Cream, it was like a video that she had did with like Cokiller, K-Rican, and Fauna. Like, they were just, you know, doing what girls do, you know, doing little cute videos and stuff. But she has said some like out-of-pocket stuff. We're going to get into that later. But, you know, after that video kind of like happened, and this was off camera, like before they started, you know, recording and filming. But, you know, it came out in these episodes right here that has happened. And Russian Cream tried to save face. We're going to get into that later. But I thought it was really weird. But I do agree with Diamond, though. I do agree that Russian was going from click to click just to, like, you know, save herself, basically. But, you know, Diamond, of course, the looks gave per usual, and then of course she had really good commentary in her confessionals. Now Ivory, I believe that Ivory's rap at the talent show, I believe she should have won. I'm sorry. If you guys don't agree with me in the comments, drop it down below, like, who y'all think should have won that talent show. I believe like her and Choco Brown was really good, but Choco won. But Ivory, I believe Ivory should have won that, because her rap was on point. Like, I love the lyricism, right? Or the words that she was using. Y'all know what I'm saying. But I love, you know, her rap altogether. It was a vibe. So I believe she should have won. But of course, like, she had really good commentary as well as far as her confessionals was concerned. Now, it was a point where she was talking to, I believe it was Big Legs, Choco Brown, LTK, I believe it was Russian Cream. Who else? Big Legs. I don't know if I mentioned that. But anyway, she was talking amongst the ladies, and, you know, she mentions to them that, you know, she heard, you know, through the grapevine that, you know, 2 ladies are being dismissed. Like, they're getting kicked out, you know, they're being kicked out, period. So she was saying like, that where the street is, it's supposed to be LCK and Lexington. Of course, those two ladies we're gonna get into that later, but Ivory lets them know like, listen, they're trying to say that you guys are being eliminated soon. So I'm not eliminated because it's not really a competition, but y'all know what I'm saying. Like, they want them girls out. So I feel like it is wrong because don't have an opportunity like this to to allow other girls to express themselves and stuff like that, but then you're going to say, oh, I don't really like the vibe you giving. Like, every baddie is not the same, and because you may not understand it, now you want to kick them out. Like, that's really weird. But she kind of like gives them the rundown of how that kind of goes, but also she wanted them to have like a little fight or something like that to kind of figure out who was going to be safe and who was not. But if Natalie is saying 2 people is being removed, that means both of them are. Not mattering if they fight for it or not, because it's not one spot that's safe. Both spots are being taken, like both spots are being removed from the Baddies cast for the season. So, I mean, if they fought, it would be pointless. But, I mean, at the same time, it's like, you just never know. But, she kind of like makes it known that the ladies are, they're skating on thin ice right now. But y'all, like, all in all, I do believe that Ivory, she does try to show like that big sister vibe amongst all of the ladies. Now, what I don't agree with as far as like Ivory is like the whole, and I already mentioned this in the other recap, but like the whole dynamic between her and Diamond, like she feel like she has to jump in Diamond's fights. I don't agree with that, but other than that, I like Ivory's vibe this season. Of course, her hair, makeup, all that was looking really nice. But I really do want her to be able to continue in this path. Like, you don't always have to be the hardest person in the room. You can be soft and fall your femininity. You don't have to be the toughest person in the room to be seen and to be heard. So I like that she's learning that, and I like that she's kind of like leaning back and like, being more softer this season. But she will, buck up if she has to. She will, defend herself if need be, which I like that. I like that. Now, y'all. By now, if y'all been watching these recaps, y'all know pretty much how I've been feeling concerning this individual right here. So Dolly has been very weird this whole season thus far. Very weird, very like, I don't even know what to call it. It's just been very goofy to me. And like I had mentioned to y'all, at the bookend, she wanted the DJ to play the diss track towards Diamond, and of course it didn't go too well. Then fast forward, y'all, her and Big Lex, they tried to reach out to Summer. Now, remember, Summer, she was, going because of like a situation. I believe it was a security guard that her and the security guard was fighting, something like that happened. So either way, she got messed up pretty bad and she had to leave for a little bit. So I believe that's what happened. They tried to call Summer. Summer was not answering her phone. So, the ladies were getting worried, but I think Dolly was, they were missing Summer. They really was missing Summer. Now, y'all, Dolly made a good point. I guess, okay, I'll give her that. She made a good point when she was saying, like, listen, I believe the other ladies really think that we are the weakest link because Summer is not here. And it was given that, y'all. It was really given that because, they was going to try Summer too, like regardless if Summer was there or not. But at the same time, they thought they had the upper hand because Summer was not there, and Summer was with it all. Like, she did not care, like she was with it. But at the same time, don't use that situation to now, pick at them more. But at the same time, Dolly, you cannot pick at them. Like, Dolly, it's like she made a good point, but in a sense, you're kind of contradicting yourself because you want somebody to not pick with you, but yet you pick with people. So it's like, yeah, girl. Now, y'all, last season we didn't really have much of an issue with Dolly, but Dolly was saying last season she was more like a girl's girl, wasn't really trying to get into too much stuff. But she was saying this season she's not being a girl's girl no more. Like, she's not with it because people was taking advantage of her. She was, according to what she was saying, people was taking advantage of her, and it was just a lot with that. So she just chose not to even be a girl's girl right now. She's going to be standing for her and her girls, and that's about it. Now, y'all, as far as that chain, y'all, between her and Tavy, she took Tavy's chain, which is crazy to me. But she was saying, like, listen, it was an open opportunity, so I just snatched it. Like, so what you going to do about it? I'm like, how old are we? Like, how old are we? It's like, and it's a shame because, You know, you really want the best for these girls, but at the same time, they keep doing little silly stuff like this that just so it gets on my nerves, y'all. But at the same time, you know, we cannot expect any more from these ladies because every time we think they're doing good, somebody's always doing something. So, you know, as far as that, she was saying that she didn't want to give it back, but Natalie was just over the whole situation. You know, she presented the opportunity for Dolly to give it back, but of course it was a big fight at the African thing. Of course it was. Now y'all fast forward when Russian Cream, like that whole video, remember I told y'all about the video as far as Russian Cream and the other girls. Now Russian Cream decided to confront Dolly, well not confront, but like let them know ahead of time, Dolly, Summer, and Big Lex about the video, because in the video Russian Cream was saying like, you know, that those girls were prettier than them. So of course she tried to save face, and of course she tried to hurry up and save her butt before they find out about the video, and they was going to fight her, you know, about it, considering she was talking about them in the video. So she was trying to apologize to them, but Dolly was not feeling it. She was like, okay girl, like, because she was trying to hug them and like, you know, be cutesy with them. I would have been the same way. Like if I found out you was talking about me in some video, what you mean? Like why are you in my face? Like remember all that stuff you were just saying? So like no, we ain't doing it. Like we're not about to have no Kiki moment. And here it is, you was just talking about me. Like that's crazy. Dolly, she truly thinks that, you know, Russian Cream, she wasn't trying to be apologetic for real. She was just trying to save herself. And you know, they just kind of like let the situation go. They didn't want to get into it anymore after that. But you know, I think Dolly overall for like these 2 episodes right here, bottom line, Dolly, I think she needs to, like Natalie was saying, she needs to show up as a leader more, because right now I'm seeing a lot of messiness going on with her and her girls, the trio. So I think they need to show up more like leaders. If you want to come back for another season, show these newer girls like, listen, I've been there last year or last season. This is what to do, this is what not to do, here is what to expect, you know, here's what Natalie is expecting, here is what she's looking for. Like listen, like treat this like a real job for real. Y'all, that was pretty much it with Dolly. Now here is Big Lex. So Big Lex, she said she had an amazing time at the booking. You know, it was a vibe with the rest of the ladies, and I think Lex, she's trying to be neutral, which is good, because you don't want to just be about your girls and your girls only. Like be open to be able to know the other ladies as well, you know, because they had a problem because the OGs was not doing that for them last season. But you know, at least Lex is trying to be open, but it's just not, I mean, I don't know, it's just not doing it. They're not doing it. So after like the village show, they kind of like, you know, fight, you know, her and Tavy, they started fighting. So, you know, Tavy, she just like, her eyes are red, like she just going like, you know, tunnel vision, she just going for her chain, like she just wants her chain. That is what she's fighting for her respect and for that chain, because she earned that chain. And the fact that Dolly thought it was okay to snatch it, I think that was whack and that was corny. But you know, Lex, she stepped in to fight Tavy for Dolly because Dolly's eye was patched up. Whatever. If you was running that mouth with that same patch on, I'm gonna need you to fight with that same patch on. Okay? Don't run your mouth if you are going to be so injured to the point where you can't fight when it's time. Like, no, because Lex should not be jumping in your fights. Because when Lex was fighting Scotty and different people, was Dolly jumping in? Now, sometimes they were jumping in, but at the same time, if Lex was injured, she doesn't need anybody to jump in her fights. She's still going to be about that. And I feel like Dahlia was just weird for that. But Lex, for some reason, I mean, I get that's your friend, but girl, know what battles to fight, because that right there was not your battle to fight. Your friend stole this girl's stuff. So you can't be like, oh, this is my girl, this is my girl. No, your girl, your friend, yeah, her. She stole her stuff. So it's like, whose side are you on? I get you and Tavy not best friends because of the whole, like, you know, the whole bus situation, the whole van stuff, and the Sprinter. You know, they started fighting in there first, and then it became an outside thing. But listen, because none of that would have ever happened if your friend would have kept her hands to herself. Period. If your friend would have kept her hands to herself, none of that would have happened. Fast forward, y'all, when Summer finally joins back, you know, her and Summer and Dolly, they had like a really cute friendship moment. They all hug, they kind of like catch Summer up on what's going on, you know, all that good stuff. So, you know, Lex, she was saying like, listen, even outside of Baddies, we have like a real friendship. Like, this is not just no TV stuff. Like, we actually have a bond in real life. Now that's a beautiful thing, because some of these girls is given very much. It's just the TV and that's it. Like, even Roly was saying like, don't make friends too quickly, because listen, this is a job. This is like, this is not supposed to be like a friendship kind of thing, but it's good to make friends while you're doing that, but also don't get caught up in that, because the very ones that you put your trust in may stab you in the back later. So y'all, next we have Pretty P. So Pretty P, she didn't really say too much these 2 episodes. We did find out that her grandfather had passed, so we're sending love and light to her also. But she was really emotional about that. She talked with her girls about it. She told a few people before Natalie announced it to everyone at the Africa outing, thing. But Pretty P, she did voice a few things. Like, her commentary was really funny, but also, you can tell she's really like messed up, emotionally concerning her grandfather. Now, she was saying like her grandfather was watching her on Baddies, so he will want her to still be there, but of course she might have to go home in order to attend the funeral, stuff like that. So the girls, when they found out, they were really understanding. They really greeted her with love and support, which is really good. That's amazing to see. All right, y'all, fast forward, we have Tavy Baby. Now, we mentioned a few things concerning Tavy before, but listen, Tavy, she wants her chain. That girl want her chain. If she don't want nothing else, she want that chain. And Tavy had told some of the girls, that she wanted Russian Cream to be more vocal concerning like her issues between her and Dolly. Like, when all those girls was fighting her and stuff, and like, even when Tavy had fell or slipped when she was fighting Lex, like, she wanted her friend at the time, like in the beginning of the season, she wanted Russian Cream to have her back, and she didn't in that moment. So after the cultural show, when Natalie had opened up the floor for people to talk, to see if they have anything, to get off their chest, because they did have a booking that night. Of course, Tavy, she wanted her chain. She asked Dolly like, listen, where's my chain? Dolly put up her middle fingers like, girl, you okay? You're not getting your chain. So like, of course it was gonna be an issue. Tavy, she changed her shoes. She wanted to fight Dolly, but as I already told y'all, Dolly, she didn't want to fight. She had the eye patch thing on, and all of a sudden that made her hands not work. No, girl, she was popping it with that same eye patch on. She should have been fighting Tavy, okay? But Lex, she jumped in. She wanted to fight for her friend since her friend was injured. Be okay. But I just feel like, Tavy, I think, because I would have been the same way. Like, listen, if I work so hard for something, I wouldn't want anybody to come in and try to take what I worked so hard for. Like, that is my chain. Like, I worked hard for that. But at the same time, I really wish that, things could have been handled differently. As far as like Natalie jumping in, making sure that Dolly returned the chain. If not, she needs to be kicked off the show, point blank period. But I think because that whole issue was a storyline, and that made more ratings and stuff like that, the whole chain snatching thing, and everybody want to see stuff like that. To me, it's messy, but that's what this type of show is. It's mess, it's drama, it's like excitement, all that stuff. But it's a shame that these grown adults feel like that's okay to do. So y'all, fast forward, when Natalie decided to call the house meeting that I had told y'all about. When she called the meeting, Tavy, she confronted Dolly again about that chain. So it's like everybody is just over this chain talk. I think I am too. Like, if she's not going to return it back, listen, because Natalie said that she's going to handle it, meaning she might just give her another chain. But at the same time, it's like, I'm not about to sit here and keep walking away with black eyes because I'm trying to fight for a chain. Listen, a chain is a chain, but I'm not going to keep getting bruised up or keep fighting this girl every night, every day, because this girl is just straight up whack for real, and she thinks she's going to get far with that mentality. She's not. All right, y'all, so then we have Cokiller. So Cokiller, she tries to defend her song yet again, as far as going back and forth with Tinka, because Roly has said that was Cokiller's song first. She came out with the song first, and so that confirms that was Cokiller's song all along. But at the same time, when Natalie, wanted to double check with Tinka, of course the two got into it immediately. Now, Cokiller, she didn't really say too much these 2 episodes, but like, it was a scene where the ladies were kind of like sitting around. They were kind of catching up as far as the issue between Tavy and Dolly. So, she was basically saying like, listen, as far as that was concerned, like Dolly, she didn't have to hide behind her friend, because it's not like Dolly can't fight. So Cokiller was giving Dolly her props as far as being a good fighter, but she was saying like, listen, don't hide behind your friend. You don't have to. I would have just, fought her right then and there, not matter if I had an eye patch or not. But I really wish that as far as like, especially Cokiller, because you can tell she's really serious about this thing. I really want Natalie to really highlight like what these newer girls are really about, because I think the newer girls, every season when there's new girls being added, they're looked at as the underdogs of the show. But just like last season, because people try to sleep on the new girls, but the new girls definitely showed out. I think this season right here is kind of giving the same thing. Like, these new girls are really doing their thing. But Natalie is really not trying to give them any type of play for real, and I don't like that. And Cokiller, she did address that with Natalie, but I don't think anything is gonna change from that conversation. All right, y'all. So this is Fauna right here. So I love this look right here on her. I love it so much. So Fauna, she made a comment to the ladies, like she was just catching them up on as far as like what happened concerning the glam room situation. So if y'all don't know what happened, go back to my previous recap because I explained everything about that. So all in all, Dolly was pretty much upset at the fact that Cokiller, Fauna, and K Rican was getting their hair and makeup and all that stuff done first. I'm like, oh my goodness, again, how old are we? So then fast forward, she tells the rest of the ladies, like Diamond, the rest of them that was outside in that one scene, she was telling them about as far as the video pertaining to Russian Cream. The video I was just telling y'all about not that long ago. Now, ladies are kind of like shocked because they already know for a fact once Summer, Dolly, and Lex find out about this video, they're going to be upset. But as you guys already know, they didn't really take, Summer, she was definitely feeling away, but because of Russian Creams, she was just trying to butter them up and like, apologize and, all because she didn't want all three of them girls to jump on her. That was why she did what she did. But according to, the ladies, they kind of felt away concerned about the video, but it wasn't really nothing new about that. So, but I like, as far as Fauna, I like the way she stand up for her friends, she stand up for herself. She's not afraid to confront the OGs, even though they're not doing that this season, but still like the returning baddies, like she's not afraid to stand up to whoever. And I like that, because you can be a baddie, you can still be classy and also correct who you need to correct. So yeah, good for her. Now here's K Rican. Now K Rican, again, she didn't really say too much, but the one comment I did like about what she was saying pertaining to her friend's song, like Cokiller's song, as far as Tinker was concerned, she was saying like, because Tinker was calling Cokiller corny and like she was saying she was boring and all that stuff. She couldn't be too boring if y'all copied her song though. And that's what K Rican was saying, like, you're calling her boring, but you copied her song. That was her song that you copied. So she can't be too boring, can't be too crazy. So I like that she definitely clocked that too. So y'all, here is Russian Cream. Now she is saying that she still has some unfinished business with K Rican, because at the winery, I don't know if you guys remember in the winery scene when they were all outside on the grass fighting and stuff, K Rican had came and had snuck her off to the side, So she still feels a way about that. She never got her lick back, and so she definitely wants to fight her again. Now, y'all, remember when Ivory was telling them that, her and Elsie was at risk of being sent home? So Russian Cream, she is with it. If she got to fight for her spot, she's going to do it. If she got to stand up for herself, she's going to do it. So I do like that. However, you shouldn't have to fight somebody that you are kind of cool with in order to keep your spot. Like, I'm not fighting one of my friends to stay here. I will go home, live my little life happily ever after. I don't have to fight my friends to be seen, to be noticed. And that is a real baddie. A real baddie is going to, do what you had to do. I'm not going to fight my friend to be seen. I'm not doing it. And then, of course, y'all remember when I just told y'all she confronted Summer, Dolly, and Lex about that video. Of course, she was trying to save face. The girl was, she even looked it nervous when she was talking to them. So, because I guess she didn't know how they were kind of, going to receive it. But we're going to find out exactly what Summer said when I get to Summer, y'all. And we're going to find out. And then, y'all, we have Choco Brown. So Choco, she didn't really say too much again these 2 episodes, but we do get a few good commentary, like points. She do get a few points of that. Like, her commentary was definitely tea for real. So it was one scene where her and LCK, they meet up with Fauna, they're talking and stuff, and the 2 ladies, they're able to break down to Fauna like the different African languages that they speak, because they both are from different parts of Africa and they both speak 2 different languages. So they were kind of able to share some African knowledge with Fauna, which was a beautiful thing, because we never want to assume that all Africans speak the same way, they do the same things. Like, no, everybody on all parts of Africa, everybody are different. Everybody operates in a different way. So it's good to be able to know that for sure. Now, fast forward at the village, she was very excited, very happy that she was able to, experience culture that she's used to. But however, she was more so excited that the other girls were able to kind of get a piece of her pie, get a piece of her pie and really understand, what it means to be an African and, how you can take pride in who you are as an African. Like, we're African Americans, but we are from Africa, so we have to, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I want to go to Africa because I want to be able to experience life, the life that we came from. I want to be able to experience that. Like, what is it like? Are the rumors true? Like, I want to see Africa for myself and make my own decision based off of what I see. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to ever assume that Africa is this way. I want to get the experience for myself. So I'm glad that these ladies are able to experience it, but some of them are taking advantage of it. They're not really understanding where they are, but at the same time, you can't help it. You cannot help it at all. So, y'all, I picked this picture right here, because I thought this was really, really cute. She had a crush, low key, on the tour, the tour person, the tour guide, but I don't know. But at the same time, I can kind of see them together. Like, they're cute. I think they'll be cute together. Now, fast forward, here is LCK. Now, LCK, I'm glad that her and Choco Brown are able to get past her, like, who's the African queen, who's the real African queen kind of beef. I'm glad they're able to be grown about it and to realize, like, listen, we are both African queens. Now, she didn't really say too much, but also when she was confronted about, being sent home and stuff, listen, she was saying, listen, nobody can send me home. Why? Because this is my home. And I thought that ate so bad. She was like, listen, I am home. I am an African queen. Okay, I'm from here. So, listen, nobody can send me home. I thought they ate so bad, y'all. So bad. But at the same time, they can send you home, at least where you were living prior to Baddies. So I guess they can send you home, girl. They can send you home. So now, y'all, listen, we get a chance to meet Marissa D, I believe that's her name. So her boyfriend or husband or whoever he is. So some guy that she's dealing with is Cokiller's baby dad. So she knows Cokiller, and then she used to deal with Russian Cream. So she knows Russian Cream on that level. Now, I did not expect Russian Cream to be into girls, but that's what we learned based off of Marissa. Now, Marissa, she came in with the good vibes, good energy. She's gorgeous. Her looks was tea. I loved her hair and makeup. Of course, it was awesome. But at the same time, you can tell she came in with her guard up, because as she's coming in, there's fights left and right. Like, she don't know what to expect. So her coming in as a celebrity guest, she kind of not really knowing what to expect, but she's with whatever. And so she's not really feeling like some of the girls. Like, I know Summer has said something smart to her, so she's not really feeling Summer. So it's like, as we watch the new episodes, like as it goes along, we're going to see exactly how she feels concerning Summer and the rest of the ladies. And last but not least, y'all, we have Summer. So Summer returns. She returns after a few episodes of being gone. Now Summer, she is like loving the new like Baddies hotel. So she loving it. Dolly, she met her at the door. So like the girls were able to bond once again. So she get caught up on everything, like who still has beef with her girls. She's getting caught up on everything. And I think, Summer, it doesn't matter what situation happened with her. The fact that a man for her is just not a good look altogether. I don't even know if he got fight or not, but it's just a bad look. And then she ended up having like a scar or something on her lip. So she still looked pretty. Like, I loved her hair, her outfit was nice, but you already know Summer is very messy. So as soon as she come in, she found her room and stuff, but she want to know the tea, like what's going on, so that way she can be a part of it. I'm like, you just got here, and then on top of that, you just came out of that situation you was just in. Come in and sit down. Don't be involved in nothing. Don't try to fight nobody. Like, girl, have you fought enough? Have you been involved in stuff enough? Like, sit down and relax. We already know Summer, she is going to be down to ride. Now, it's one thing to protect your friends and be there for your friends, but like Summer, she just goes above and beyond sometimes. She do too much, but she do too much, y'all. And she do too much. But I will say this, I am glad that she was able to come back and like really like close out the season with the ladies. At least, I believe this is the middle of the season, but I'm glad she was able to return and, get a chance to really have her story be told. I don't know if she's going to eventually let everybody know, like on camera, what exactly happened to her. I don't know, but as far as these 2 episodes right here, she did not. You know, in episode 10, when she returned and like everybody kind of seen her at the house meeting, some of them was like, here we go again. Like, they already know because they had beef with Summer before she left, so they already kind of understand, you know, what this kind of is going to look like. Especially it's a house meeting. Yeah, they was already ready, but you know, unfortunately, you know, she came back and they couldn't stop that. So yeah, in Summer, she really didn't say much other than, you know, she's down a ride. Like, she want to know what's tea, like who got a problem with her girls. Like, you know, she just really on that mindset. So hopefully she don't get into too much stuff, but she's already trying to put her hands and stuff. So you already know, you know, it's already going to go up with Summer. So you guys, as always, so that was the end of this recap right here. But as always, we're going to get a little sneak peek as to what's going on in episode 11, y'all. I know, 11. Episode 11, we get a sneak peek. So let's see exactly what happened in this sneak peek, y'all. So let's go. So at the house meeting, you guys, Dolly and Tavy started fighting. So their fight continues. And then, y'all, Summer, she makes it known that she did have issues with some of the girls before she left. So I guess she's kind of like checking the temperatures of these girls, making sure that nobody is on nothing in this house meeting because she's there. Then Cokiller, she calls Summer out, and then K-Reek and her started fighting. So I'm like, oh Lord, what is going on with these girls? Then Russian Cream finally gets her fight with K-Reek that she's been begging for. She's been asking for it. She's been saying this girl still got smoke with her. So then they started fighting again. Then Fauna and Big Lex started fighting. So I'm like, when we watch episode 11, we're gonna get into it. How in the world they started fighting, I don't know, but we're gonna see exactly what happened. Then Roly, she gets a chance to talk. She was saying, like, you know, she believed that Russian Cream, she needs to get sent home, and LCK, because they did not take up for their friend. But their friend was going through all that. They didn't say too much. They didn't do too much. So Roly, she basically wants them gone. She wants them gone. Then Russian Cream and LC, they fought each other just to keep a spot, but both of y'all are leaving. So it was like, that fight was just pointless. I didn't see the point in that. Then, y'all, the ladies, they had a booking that same evening, so they go to the booking. Everybody's looking nice, but Ivory and Dolly get into it, and Dolly punched Ivory. Ivory fell back, y'all. So I don't want to see exactly what happened with Ivory. Like, what happened? I want to know, as far as that scenario, I want to know what exactly happened with that. Then Diamond get into it with somebody. So, I mean, I don't know what's going on at this booking, but it seems like after that booking, like in the hallways of, like, I guess the club or whatever, and then into outside, like, it was just fight on fight. So I'm like, heck, like, what exactly happened? But we're going to see episode 11, and then we're going to get into it, y'all. So of course Ivory is upset. She's trying to, you know, fight her way through the crowd. You know, her friends is trying to calm her down, but she's not trying to hear that. She just wants blood, okay? Because Dolly punched her, she fell back, and I guess that was embarrassing, so she probably wanted her leg back because of that. So the ladies are outside, and then Natalie gives Ivory and Dolly a chance to fight it out, do what they had to do, and of course that sparked a whole brawl. So yeah, it was just a lot in that recap, y'all, in that little sneak peek. But this concludes this recap right here for episodes 9 and 10, y'all. A lot has went down. I think, you know, as far as these girls, you just really never know. Like, you really never know what's going to happen in these episodes, y'all. But I think my favorite part was definitely when they went to the village. The ladies were able to put their beefs aside, at least until the end. But they were able to put their beefs aside, and they had an amazing time. You know, they went to the different shops and stuff. They learned about the culture and stuff that was there. It was a beautiful thing that the girls experienced, and I hope they really hold on to different stuff like that. The safari and, like, the different stuff that Natalie had planned for the girls outside of, like, doing the bookings. I hope these girls really are holding on to that, because that's really important to kind of experience on another level, you know? So you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this recap. This concludes this recap for the Baddies Africa episodes, for episodes 9 and 10. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so that way you are notified every time I post another video just like this one, y'all, because I will. Episode 11 is going to be recorded very soon, y'all, because we got to catch up, because I think today episode 12 getting ready to drop, so we gotta hurry up, y'all. So don't forget to do all those things, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, y'all. I love y'all so much. Thank y'all for loving on me as I love on y'all, and I will see y'all in the next video, y'all. So peace out. I love y'all. See y'all soon, y'all.